Cheers, I do buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I'm going to do the Greene Trifecta with you today. But I'm going to do it a little bit different than in the past. I've got the Greene Ghost, all from Springfield Brewing Company, I should add. I got the Greene IPA line, the Greene Ghost, the Greene Dragon, and the Greene Goliath. But rather than just have about 2 ounces of each beer, I'm going to drink all three in their entirety with you in one sitting. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, man. I am going to, after each beer, I'm going to stop the camera and then take a picture of the other beer, and I'll be back. But it's all going to be in one sitting. You're just going to have to trust me. 6.5% of this beer is. Brewed with Citra and Centennial. For a big punch of juicy citrus, it says. Anyway, let me show you that can. Let me show you the back of the can if you'd like to read that for yourself. And there we go. Let's start with the Ghost, shall we? 6.5%. I believe it's 65 IBUs, but I'm not 100% sure. But hell, doesn't really matter. Nothing matters anymore, Tom. Cheers. It's a very hot Saturday as I do this video, because I entertained going to my pub, which is in the garage, but it's awful hot out there, and I thought about going to my beer garden, my back patio, but it's hot out there too, so I'm going to stay inside. Even setting this up, I started sweating, so, and we got it rather cool in here. Just getting this set up, I broke out in a sweat. It's just that hot, man. A lot of big citrus on the nose, as they suggest. A little orange, you might find tangerine, definitely some grapefruit. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. Wow. Perfect beer for this kind of weather. If you don't plan on doing anything else the rest of the day. If you're going to drink 3 of these right back to back, no, I don't. I don't have anything that I absolutely have to get done other than, cook dinner at some point. So I just wanted to get these. I want to do these 3 first, right? My first beers of the day while my palate was fresh, as it were. I tried to get it set up over my television, but I couldn't get the angle right, so I just gave up. And just put it in front of that picture that my daughter made for me. Call it diamond painting. But my head's over the best part of it, though. My head's covering the best part, man. That's a big old noggin, Tom. Anyway, cheers. Gosh almighty, that's good. That's a good beer. IPAs have been very popular among serious craft beer drinkers for a very long time, but every once in a while you'll run into someone that says they don't like IPAs. Certainly nothing wrong with that. My only issue with that statement is that there are so many different varieties. I don't know how you can discount the whole category, right? Because, I mean, it just takes a lot of direction. But some will cite too bitter. It's too bitter for me, Tom. Which tells me they've had a specific style of IPA that didn't work for them, and now they're not going to try any others. But those of us that love IPAs really don't find that bitterness that often. We find that hoppiness, and there's a difference between hoppy and bitter. It's that big hot punch right at the end that I think a lot of folks don't like. But again, I mean, way back in the day, those big grapefruit pine IPAs, I mean, they were love them or not kind of IPAs. You either love that big, harsh, in-your-face flavor, or you didn't. And I think, especially older folks, like when I run across somebody anywhere near my age that doesn't like IPAs, it's usually because they had that style. I would encourage them to try a beer like this, because it's not quite the same kind of IPA. This one kind of has that West Coast feel about it. Certainly has that West Coast color to it. It is clear, so it's obviously not a hazy or juicy. And although I wouldn't call this a pure West Coast, it certainly has some West Coast sensibilities to it. But it does have a malt body, which is what a lot of those beers lack. Well, a lot of those I've had, it kind of have that hop water kind of taste. You know, they feel a little light in the body. This one does have a nice malt body that sort of hangs on to everything. I feel a little bit of honey sweetness early on, maybe a touch of stone fruit in the middle, and then you got that nice mix of citrus zest in the finish that help clean it all out for you. Ugh. It was about, what, 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, the Goliath came out, so I bought that. The following week, I bought a 4-pack of the Dragon, and yesterday I went ahead and bought a 6-pack of the Ghost, so I could do the Trifecta. Just got them one at a time. Got a budget. We got a budget, man. We got a budget, man. Oh, mercy. It's been hot. It's been hot here in the Ozarks, of course, but it's been hot in most parts of the country, even parts of the country that aren't typically this warm. I mean, we're usually hot about this time of year, but I don't know that we usually get this string of hot, right? It's been 100 for a few days now, 100 plus for a few days. It's like 100 and well, it dropped yesterday. Yesterday was only about 100. It's supposed to get up to about 102 today, 104 tomorrow. So, and although I would like to be sitting outside having a beer, man, it's hot out there. It's hot out there, man, because I thought about going out to the beer garden. Fuck it, I'm staying inside, man. Anyways, let me wrap this up. The Green Ghost, Springfield Brewing Company, Springfield, Missouri. A classic brew pub, opened in '97, I believe. They've changed a lot over the years and continue to adapt and evolve. And I think that's why they've been able to last as long as they have. A lot of breweries that don't make it very long, it's largely because they don't have that ability to adjust, to change, to evolve, and you've got to keep reinventing yourself to be successful. So there you go. I'm not going to go into my usual spiel because I got my usual spiel. I mean, because I've got a couple more beers I'm going to have with you. So cheers. I will be back. Cheers, hey, do buckaroos, and how the heck are you? Beer number two. Beer number two, man. The Green Dragon, 2 of the 3. The Green Dragon, described as a double IPA at 7.5%. Set that down here for a second so I can try to read that. Got allergy eyes this morning. I'm having a hard time reading anything. Big Juicy. Tropical melon from a double helping of Citra and Idaho 7 hops. 7.5%. Show you that can. Look how beautiful that pours. Just a beautiful golden. All of these are very similar in color. Again, they're more West Coast-ish, but I even hesitate to put them in that category, in all honesty. Look how beautiful that pours. So that head will just sit there. It'll just stay right there, man. Anyway, I digress. They're all similar in ways, but a little bit different. The hop varieties change a little bit from beer to beer to beer. Oh, that's just gorgeous, man. Surprisingly mellow for 7.5%. The body doesn't feel any heavier than the Ghost does, in all honesty. That extra 7 to get it to 7.5%. It is a beautiful, easy drinker. It is rather deceptive. Oh, my nose will not quit itching. It is rather deceptive, though, at that 7.5%. Between my allergies and my Tourette's, I'm having a hell of a day so far, man. The Tourette's and the allergies are just kicking my ass. I wasn't outside very long, but even just that little bit I was outside, man, it just triggered everything. Gosh, that is delicious. Again, a lot of similarities, right? It just changes a little bit. Again, a lot of big citrus, a lot of tropical fruit notes, a little bit of stone fruit in the middle, a mixed bag of citrus zest in the finish. They're all very similar, but they come at you in just a little bit different ways. This one doesn't start as sweet as the Ghost does. The Ghost, I get a little bit of almost honey-like sweetness, and here I don't feel that. We jump right into the citrus. I feel tangerine right away, breaking into some grapefruit, and then feeling some of the tropical fruit notes, a little bit of a pineapple. You might feel some mango, maybe a little honeydew in there. Oh, gosh, that's a gorgeous beer, man. That's just beautiful, babe. Beautiful, babe. Don't ever change. Anyway, I digress. Sometimes my youth just runs through my head. I used to listen to radio station KMET. Used to hear that from some of the dudes. You're beautiful, babe. Don't ever change. Anyway, what was her name, man? You had the Burner Mary Turner. Of course, the legend on that station was Jim Ladd. And you had the Burner Mary. Jim Ladd had his interview syndicated series. The Burner Mary Turner had Off the Record. And there was another female DJ, and I think her name was Cynthia Fox, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But all of us of a certain age back then had a whopping crush on her because she was rather pretty. Anyways. KMET went belly up about the mid 80s. Most DJs went on to KLOS. There was a classic rock station, I'll be damned if I can remember the call letters now, where a lot of them went to. Is Jim Ladd. Jim Ladd had the distinction of being fired from just about everywhere. Jim Ladd just kept getting fired, man. Jim couldn't help it, man. He would just say things. You couldn't script Jim Ladd, and you couldn't program him either. The Tom Petty song "Last DJ" was rumored to be about him. It might have been an amalgam of a couple, or maybe a handful of DJs. But you listen to the lyrics, and it really feels like he's talking about Jim Ladd. And every time Jim Ladd would get hired again, he would joke about the last time he got fired. You know. He got fired from KLOS, goes to KMET, gets fired from KMET, goes back to KLOS, then goes to, I'll be damned if I can remember the colors for the classic rock station, and he gets fired from there. But that was the problem is, you couldn't script him, man. You couldn't script him. You couldn't tell him not to say something. He was going to do whatever he was going to do. You couldn't program him. He was going to play whatever the hell he wanted. That was the great thing about the Jim Ladd show, is I won't say I loved everything he played, but he would play some surprising songs, right? You know, he wouldn't play the same songs that everybody else was playing. You might hear the second song on the B-side of an album, that other folks have forgotten. But he'd find a gem that other, DJs have overlooked, and he'd play that song. Or he'd play the B-side of a single, he would really, it was just interesting. He just had a different outlook on everything, and he was always open about the fact that he was, perpetually smoking a joint through every show, man. He would even say things like, and I'm paraphrasing now, trying to remember, my youth, but he said, well, he would play, some long songs, so it was a big joint, had to stretch that one out. Anyway, oh mercy. This is a beautiful beer, right? And so I pulled all three of these beers out of the fridge, or well, two of them out of the cooler, one up out of the fridge. But and then I drank the Ghost first. I'm not afraid of the Dragon or the Goliath warming too much, because the more they warm, the more aromatic they become, and the more those flavors will meld together. So I'm not afraid of it warming up. Oh, you beautiful babe, don't ever change. Anyway, I'll be right back with a third beer. Don't go away. Well, cheers and howdy do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? Let me get the rest of that beer in there. The Greene Goliath at 10%. Let me put my beer down just for a second here and talk to you. There we go. The legacy continues. This triple West Coast style. So the other two don't say specifically West Coast, because I tell you that they're similar to a West Coast, but not quite. But this one does specifically say it's a West Coast style. IPA is a beast. More hops, more malt, more legendary at 10%. So there you go. I can't disagree with any of that, but I am going to say, again, it doesn't feel to me, from some of the West Coast I've had at a similar ABV, it does feel just a little bit different. It does have the same or similar hop varieties, I will say. But everything done in the Midwest is just a little bit different. We like to refer to it as a Midwest Coast IPA. Oh, that's gorgeous. I get a lot of big orange and or tangerine zest on the nose right away. You might find some grapefruit and also some of the usual tropical fruit suspects in there as well. That's not going to be unusual. Just relaxing here on a Saturday. I plan on doing nothing. It was about 100 degrees yesterday. That the heat all week kind of wiped me out. It was hot, man. So I stopped by the store on the way home. I already had food, but I grabbed what other beer I might need for the weekend, and got some ice so I could fill my cooler, and decided we're not going anywhere, man. We here. We're just here, man. We ain't going no damn place. Yeah. Nothing my wife wants to do, so we're just gonna relax, stay cool. Just relax here at the house. And my wife and I watched a movie earlier today. My son was a fan of the Fast and Furious movies. Unfortunately, we lost him in 2013, so we only saw up to that point, but we've kept watching them. Some of that is, we watched the very first one today, kind of reminiscing a little bit. My wife and I were kind of talking to each other throughout the movie, about, remember this and that. We went to a drive-in in Aurora, Missouri, about 45 minutes from here. And we went to see the first film. Fast and Furious was the second one playing. We had no desire to see that, but we wanted to see the first movie. The irony there is I have no recollection of that first movie whatsoever. And that's the movie we went to see, and I'll be damned if I can remember. We figured the kids would be asleep. Yeah, it should be asleep by the time the second movie started. And we figured, well, we stay long enough just to check it out. But we weren't, it seemed like kind of a schlock movie. So we weren't really crazy about watching it. We'll watch about 10, 15 minutes and see. And our son was in the back seat, and he gradually climbed to the front seat and was on my lap. And at one point, he was almost through the windshield of me. He was so riveted by that movie. We ended up staying to watch the whole movie because he stayed awake. Our daughter did fall asleep, but our son stayed awake. And he was just a baby at the time, man. He was just a baby, man. And he crawled up there, and it's, oh crap. So now we're watching the whole movie. Yeah, well, I let a about a 2-year-old watch the original the Fast and the Furious. Yeah. I might not have won me Father of the Year, but I never believed in censorship. Uh, anyway, is that? I forgot where I was going there for a second. I started to get a little misty on you. I'm going to try to bring it back now. The other part of that story is, so we're going to have a little father-son time. I would take them to a theater that's no longer there called the Palace, and they were kind of a second-run theater, right? They go through the big theaters and they get to the Palace, and they were, a little bit more inexpensive. And there was a Disney movie, and again, I cannot remember the name of the movie that I wanted to see, but he insisted we see Too Fast, Too Furious, and he was like 5 at the time. So yeah, that's my other. I remember hearing whispers in the theater. This guy took this little much. Anyway, what are you gonna do? I imagine to all the other adults in the theater, I was going to a movie that I wanted to see, but no, I was taking my son to the movie he wanted to see. But anyways, I digress. So back to the beer here quickly. This one does feel like it's got a little more body than the Dragon, as it should. However, at 10%, it doesn't feel heavy, and it doesn't feel boozy at 10%. The only issue I have with this beer is the name, right? Not the Goliath part, but the triple IPA part. 10% triple. I'm not equating 10% to a triple. To me, a 10% is a big double or an imperial. But anyway, hey, it's their beer. They can call it whatever they want. To me, a triple's got to be at least 12 at a bare minimum. But hey, there you go. It is what it is. But the bottom line is, it's an absolutely brilliant beer. Whatever you want to refer to it as, it makes no mistakes. It is absolutely brilliant from top to bottom. A lot of big citrus up front, some stone fruit in the middle, nectarine in particular. And then again, you got a lot of big mixed citrus zest in the finish. It's just absolutely gorgeous beer. From top to bottom, from start to finish, it's beautiful, man. You're beautiful, babe. Don't ever change. Anyway, oh gosh. What's the name of that chick with the long hair? Rapunzel. Hey, Reputa. Hey, Reputa the Beauty. Show me down your hair. Let me climb the ladder of your love. Anyway, a little bit from Jake Isles Band live. Blow your face out. Must have got lost. Anyways, I digress. This is a beautiful beer. All three are absolutely gorgeous. If you ever find them in your neck of the woods, if you're not from my neck of the woods, please pick them up. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. Who else would I be, man? The more you let this warm up, the more viscosity you might feel, but it never gets very heavy. It doesn't get too chewy, but it will get a little more viscous as it warms. But the truth is, you really want this beer at probably about 55. Some might even want it to 60. Because that's when the flavors and aromas really work together harmoniously to really give you the best the beer has to offer. It's absolutely gorgeous. So there you go. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, man. Who else would I be? I'm feeling pretty good now after having these three. Having these three in about a 30-minute time period, man. Anyways, I don't typically drink this fast, but hey, you don't want to see me drink each one for 20 minutes, man. Anyway, cheers. Take a little breather after this, Take a little breather, might even take a little nap. It's Saturday, man. I can do whatever I damn well please. It's still a free country. Yeah, we voted the fascists out. Gosh, that's absolutely gorgeous. Anyways, one more time with feeling. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. All around good guy. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you. Salute you.